Good afternoon, everyone.
Big Rock Island. So we have Thursday night groove concert. Get your groove on with the class of '82.
When people want proof that the world ain't flat, we'll just give them their money back. Oh yeah! We heard what you want to do. Now we'll tell you what's best for you. That's the story from the editorial board. A little tip for the working man.
Face coverage.
Your employers are all our friends. That's the story from the editorial board. That's the story from the editorial board. We'd like to save the world when it's under attack, but how you gonna pay for that? Ow!
Big Rock Island. So we have Thursday night groove concert. Get your groove on with the class of '82.
When people want proof that the world ain't flat, we'll just give them their money back. Oh yeah! That's the story from the editorial board. That's the story from the editorial board. That's the story from the editorial board. That's the story from the editorial board.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Love that song. Oh, yeah.
What's going on, everybody? We're live.
Just had to do that last, that last one, just, yeah.
Your Ben Joravsky show for Wednesday, September 30th is just moments away. But before we do this, let's thank the following unions for sponsoring this program. Unions like the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 9, they're sponsors. The International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150 are sponsors, as well as our good friends at the Chicago Federation of Labor. Major shout out to live stream listener Frank and live stream chatter Frank. Frank, you're the man. Not only do you provide us with random information when we bring it up on the show, not only do you pick our song of the day, and yes, Ben, you do have a song of the day. You also give me access to the Chicago Sun-Times, and for some reason they logged me out. You gave me the password, and I'm back in, baby.
Can we just point out just the peculiarities of life? You are effectively an employee of the Chicago Sun-Times. But this is our show, ladies and gentlemen, in the attic, overlooking the alley and the porta potty. We are sponsored by the Sun-Times, but my producer needs Frank to get into the Sun-Times. The world is insane, D.
We love you, Frank.
The world is insane.
We love you, buddy.
We could not do this show without Frank. He sent me a text already this morning about, oh, God, Tim Scott. I had already seen the text, or the link, but great minds think alike. That's all I got to say.
So now he's the guy that wakes you up every morning. I like that. Frank, add that to the list of things. Wake up.
Well, okay, the text came in. I was already up at noon when, I was already up at noon. Okay, I got up at 10 today. All right, come on, D. Get it together, all right?
All right. Okay, well, Frank does have your song of the day, and boy, he really does like you, Ben Joravsky. He looks out after you on these songs of the day. Songs that you know every time. Today's song of the day from Frank, The Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, my God. Remember when I went on the whole Sammy Davis thing?
I guess Frank
I love
does.
Sammy Davis Jr. The candy man can, 'cause he mixes it with love and make the world go around. Who can da-da-da-da? Come on, D. Sparkle it with Dewey. Love Sammy Davis Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Love Sammy Davis Jr. He was the best in the Rat Pack. Sorry, Frank Sinatra fans. Sorry, Dino Martin fans. Sammy Davis Jr. There you go, D. Oh, hold on.
An early table bang. The Ben Joravsky Show starts now. It is Wednesday, September 30th. And live from my apartment in his attic, this is the Ben Joravsky Show. Today on the program, it's all things whatever the hell that was last night. I think it was a debate with legendary Chicago journalist Monroe Anderson. And now your host, Chicago Reader columnist Ben Joravsky.
Hello, everybody. Ben Joravsky here. We're calling this Shit Show Wednesday. And here's
Watch your mouth.
why. You know why, ladies and gentlemen. You saw last night's presidential debate. Air quotes around the word debate. I might as well put air quotes around the word presidential as well. Now, I know I shouldn't swear. Dennis always tells me, Ben, you know, in radio school, we're taught never to swear.
I don't sound like that.
When you're doing your radio guide, that's your radio guide. But you know, Ben, I was a graduate of radio school, and let me tell you something, no swearing. But to quote Joe Biden, come on, man. Even the CNN anchors call it a shit show, D. I heard it.
Oh, wow.
I know. And then they immediately apologized. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I said that. Guys, the president says it all the time. You don't have to apologize anymore, but I know the instinct. Like, I swear. I shouldn't swear. If anything shows that all standards have been smashed and destroyed, it would be last night's debate, in quotes. Presidential, in quotes, debate, in quotes. I don't even put them together in quotes. Two separate sets of quotes. Because that's what it was, ladies and gentlemen. A beep show.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in.
I think it's the
I
only.
love it, man. I don't know. There's this part of me that loved it, D. I gotta say, there's this part of me that freaking loved it. You know, and I'm going off script here. I'm just gonna say this. When I was a kid, I loved Abby Hoffman. Now, oh God, millennials are like their heads are cool.
I know we're on the internet. It's a podcast. Millennials, please hang tight with us.
He was an old hippie, and his whole thing was he'd upset the apple cart, and that. You know what? There's a movie coming out, Chicago 7. Millennials, you can learn about this. Abby Hoffman, there's a movie coming out. Sacha Baron Cohen plays Abby Hoffman. It's supposed to be an excellent movie. Can't wait till it drops on Netflix. Got to wait till October. Anyway, Abby Hoffman was the anti-establishment. He, sort of like just exposed everything for the fraud it was. And that's kind of the role Donald Trump is playing. So on one level, I kind of appreciate it. He's got a little Abby Hoffman in him. But he's doing it on behalf of fascism and white supremacy. So it's hard for me to jump aboard. It's kind of killing me. Finally, we have a freak in the White House, and he's a fascist freak. Oh, God. Anyway, where was I? All right, let's start with President Donald Trump, since I just mentioned him, talking over Biden, interrupting Biden, talking over Biden, interrupting Biden. Can you imagine if you're a high school civic teacher trying to teach techniques of debate to your students? How do you teach that? It's like playing tennis without the lines. No, it's worse. One guy, Biden, has the lines, and the other guy, Trump, has no lines. You can't lose if you have no rules. That debate right there, folks, was Exhibit A of how politics has been played in this country for the last 30 years. The Democrats play according to the rules. Oh, well, there are rules, and we will follow those rules because that's what we do. We're correct. And the Republicans are like, beep that. There are no rules. They do what they want, and then they win. And then the Democrats are like, how did that happen? Exhibit B, of course, would be the Supreme Court vacancy, which is now being filled by Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. Imagine if you're a high school debate coach and you had to explain that debate to your kiddies in the context of what they have to do when they debate. You're telling your kids, all right, here's how it goes. You get 2 minutes for an opening statement, and then you have to be quiet while your opponent, the other debater, gets his 2-minute opening statement. Only your kid goes, yeah, sure, coach. And then after his 2-minute opening statement is over, he just talks right through the other guy's opening statement. And the judge is telling him to be quiet. And he tells the judge to shut up. And then the judge says, no, you really have to be quiet. And then he tells the judge, oh, you're picking on me. That's what Trump did. On top of everything else, he played the victim card. Republicans love the victim card. They feel free to say any old offensive thing they want to about anyone else. And when the people they offend say they're offended, the Republicans call them snowflakes. But you say one critical thing about them and they cry like the little babies that they are. And that was President Donnie last night. When Chris Wallace tried to get him to play by the rules, he was like, oh, Chris Wallace, you're picking on me. I guess I'm debating 2 people now, huh? By the way, there's a lot of criticism of Chris Wallace today, Dia, but everybody's ripping.
Oh,
Chris
you don't
Wallace.
say.
I'm going to go the other way in this one, okay? I'm going to take the bold stand. What the hell's he supposed to do? Seriously, all these people criticizing Chris Wallace, and I'm reading, I'm like, well, where's your advice? How would you have done it? I mean, what's he supposed to tell the president of the United States to shut up? Well, I guess that would be a possibility. But could you hear the wailing and crying from MAGA? If he had told Trump to shut up, MAGA, you're picking on Donnie. He can't turn off Donnie's mic because he doesn't control the mic. He doesn't control the mic because they had this agreement beforehand that the moderator can't control the mic. So he has to try to interrupt Trump while Trump is interrupting Biden, and they all end up talking all over each other. You know what it made me kind of miss? Uh-oh, here comes a baby boomer reference. Oh, look out, T. Oh. Baby boomer reference coming. Incoming. Those are the air warning sirens.
Man, new effects. New sound effects. I was waiting for some new ones.
Baby boomer reference. Here it comes. Richard J. Daley. That was the Daley before Baby Daley, which is the Daley that millennials know. Richard J. Day, look him up. It's in there. You can find it in your phone. Okay, here I go. I'm a millennial. Anyway, Richard J. Daley, he ran the city council with like an iron, what is it, thumb, wrist, hand, whatever it was.
Fist.
Oh, thank you. And so when an alderman would speak out that he didn't want to hear, he cut off his mic. Leon Dupre. Oh, I love Leon Dupre. Can we have a moment? Just Leon Dupre. You're the man, alderman of the 5th Ward. I love you. Anyway, Leon Dupre would speak out for civil rights or something. Daley go, I've had enough of this, and just shut off his mic. We could have used Richard J. Daley last night at a debate. Just shut off Trump's mic. Trump would be like, the mouth would be moving, but you couldn't hear anything. That would be kind of funny. Actually, the debate in its own way was kind of funny in a wrestling sort of way. I talked about this yesterday. And Dennis and I are going to do a whole show dedicated to wrestling. Okay.
My dreams have come true, guys.
Something you may not realize about Dennis. He's so quiet. No one really knows the real Dennis. He loves wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
I do.
He loves it. He knows it. I don't know wrestling because my wrestling, the stuff I know about wrestling is not from before 1973. So Dennis is like, oh. Bruno Sammartino, who?
Oh, I know Bruno Sammartino. Come on.
Wow, I got to give you credit for knowing that. But he knows his stuff from anything from like 1984 on. Dennis has it down. So he's been sending these clips, and I love him for it. And I've been watching all these wrestling clips, and I realized that everything Donald Trump knows about being a public figure, about his persona, he learned from wrestlers. Mostly Mr. Steve Austin. Trump watched while Austin played to the crowd. He got an arena packed with like 25,000 fans or something, and they'd be howling in delight. And Trump takes it on the road, And he fills up his arena with his fans. And when they howl, Trump's like, yeah, they love me. The world loves me. I am the man. And he says all kinds of nasty, rude, mean things, just like Steve Austin. The crowd goes, they cheer even louder. But what he doesn't realize is that in an election, it's not quite like a wrestling match. There are people outside the arena, and in an election, they get to vote too. So like I said yesterday, 45% of America is in the MAGA cult. They aren't budging. They're like the people in the arena screaming for Steve Austin. But Trump's got to worry about that other 55%. And I don't know if they were really into what they saw last night. By the way, the funniest part is the post-debate spin by Republicans, especially on the issue of white supremacy. We'll be talking about this one all day. I got Monroe Anderson coming up. Atiba Buchanan's coming up. This is the one you all saw the debate. You know what I'm talking about. Chris Wallace practically begging Trump to do like the presidential thing. You know, in what century is this, Steve? 21st century. Just come on, President, denounce white supremacy. Please, that's what we're all supposed to do. We have a special holiday for Dr. King. So this is, even if you don't believe it in your heart, you're supposed to say it. Trump wouldn't do it. All of a sudden, he's getting lawyer-like with Chris Wallace. Wallace is saying, you know, denounce white supremacy. And Trump says, well, be specific. What white supremacist groups do you want me to denounce? Well, suddenly he turns to F. Lee Bailey. And that's when Biden, old Sleepy Joe, you got to give him credit here, D. He pulled it.
Who said that? Who said my name? Where are we? Honey?
I'm sorry, man. There's two imitations that he knows will crack me up. Is Biden and the one you'll never hear, Mayor Lightfoot.
Okay, that's false.
Oh, my God. He does that. Oh, God. Where was I? Oh, Biden pulled a Trump. And when Trump said, well, give me a group. And Chris Wallace is like, habita. Biden goes, the Proud Boys, which is the right-wing, anti-Semitic, anti-black militia group that helped organize the Charlottesville rally, stirred up trouble in Oregon. You know who the Proud Boys are. And Trump walked right into it. Say what you will about Biden being old Sleepy Joe, but he laid a trap. And Donnie walked into it. Not only did Trump refuse to denounce the Proud Boys, he gave them a shout out. Stand back and stand by. Man, they were like celebrating. They created a meme the Proud Boys did. They're like, yay, that's our president. Now Republicans are like, uh-oh. How are we going to win over those swing voters in Wisconsin who may be a little uncomfortable signing onto a campaign allied with white supremacists? So right on time, and thank you, Frank, for sending me the link. Here comes Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina to say, quote, the president misspoke. He should correct it. If he doesn't correct it, I guess he didn't misspeak. All right, Tim Scott, let me ask you a question. How deluded can you be? First of all, Trump doesn't correct mistakes because he's too vain and insecure to admit he made them. Second of all, he's not going to correct this because he thinks he's got it right. He believes it. And thirdly, let me ask you this, Senator Tim Scott. Are you going to denounce the president if he doesn't, quote unquote, correct his mistake? Are you still going to lend whatever credibility you have to give him some credibility? I'll tell you what, the biggest losers in last night's debate, the Republican Party. We got a great show today, everybody. Monroe Anderson, he's fired up. He's ready to talk Trump, and more Trump. Yeah, he's been waiting for this moment. Of course, you know I called Monroe right after the debate last night. That was
you
like
too. It's adorable.
Monroe, you're right. Oh, my God, he was fired up. Atiba Buchanan will be joining us. I talked to him extensively last night as well. WVON talk show host. He's obsessed with the debate, too. He's ready to go. That will be our 7 o'clock drop, D. Our 7 o'clock drop,
Available at?
Wherever you pod. I heard someone everybody does a podcast now. So I'm on the radio, I'm driving in the car on a Saturday and I'm listening to the hard rock station. You want to hear more Led Zeppelin? You got a whole Led Zeppelin Get the Lead Out podcast. Wherever you pod or whatever they say. Is it wherever you pod or wherever you podcast?
Oh my God. Just give me the ball. How about that? Available at both Chicago Sun-Times and Chicago Reader websites and wherever else you download your favorite podcast.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I know.
Except I forgot it.
I know.
Anyway, we got a great show. Before we get to that, the man from Alton, Illinois, the man that Tim Scott proudly calls Dr. Doobie with the news.
Huh? What? What happened? Where are we? What's my social security number?
Joe Biden, man. Huh? Say words.
All right, how's it going? I'm Dennis. Before we find out what's happening in Chicago and or Illinois this afternoon, Ben, we did a Facebook thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Cool, right?
Whoa.
That happens every now and again, you know?
Come on, are we 21st century or what?
We're on it. But right now, posted on the Ben Joravsky Show Facebook page, a question about last night's presidential debate. Who won? Who lost? And who felt like they needed to take a shower after such a muddy shit show? Quite a few of you have commented, and we thank you for that. We're going to read your comments in moments. If you're listening and you haven't left a comment yet, you can at Benny J Show, BENNY, the letter J Show. Tell us your thoughts, and if we get any more, we'll keep reading these throughout the week. Ben, let's hear what the Ben Joravsky Show Facebook friends had to say about last night's debate between
No collusion.
and
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone, make sure the kids hear words.
Before we read your comments, though, we got to give a shout out to Emma. Emma, she posted on the Ben Joravsky Show Facebook page just a video of a cat in a shower. It was really cool. So, you know what I mean?
That's really cool, man. Yeah.
Right? Cat was like licking the water. It was cool. Here's Kristen's comment about last night's POTUS debate. I think we all lost that one. Or wait, I should say, I think the brown line. That damn
Brown
thing.
line went by. I lost it. Yeah.
All right, we'll edit that out.
Yeah, that'll go.
Here's
Here we
Kristen's comment about last night's POTUS debate. I think we all lost that one.
go. Yes. Humanity was the loser of last night. Civilization as we know it was set back about a century.
Hey, here's Brett's comment. Brett says, what little I did see or hear made me laugh. Donnie's lies are so obvious and outrageous, it was more like comedy than debate. Sad day for America, though. Pathetic, childish, disgusting, SMH.
I am with you. And by the way, a shout out to Neil Steinberg, columnist for the Sun-Times, about Donnie's lines. Yeah, here's my advice to Biden. No matter what Donnie says that's not true. You just say that's not true. Because I would say the 99% chance that it is not true. Donnie just makes it up as he goes along. I mean, I got to give him credit. He's just winging it. But Dennis is the one. Okay, let's start off. Dennis is the one who remembers the line from, what was it, 2016 debate? It was with the Republicans were having their debate. It was that great moment where he was talking about the wall, and the debate moderator asked him a question about the Mexican opposition, and Trump said, well, the wall just got 10 feet higher. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Donald Trump does stuff like that. Here's from Neil Steinberg. I gotta give him credit. The quote, the president's lines were too numerous to list. You could actually see the Trump multiplier effect. When he first mentioned his rallies, they were attended by 20 to 25 supporters. 20 to 25,000 supporters. Moments later, it was, quote, 35 to 40,000. And it was so true. When I remember thinking, wait a minute, what? Did you just find 10,000 new supporters at your rallies? So, yeah, he's just lie like a rug.
Once again, if you're listening and you want to post your comments about last night's debate, who won, who lost, who felt disgusting afterwards, feel free to leave us your comments. Tom left us a critique on Joe Biden. Tom says, disgusting. Sad to see Biden take the bait with his shut up, man comment. Something President Obama would not have done.
President Obama would not. You know what? Let me just say this. President Obama never had a deal with Donald John Trump. So I don't know what. See, President Obama was playing that when they go low, we go high game. Well, again, folks, President Obama spent his entire career battling opponents who played by the rules. Donald Trump plays by no rules. So I don't know how Barack Obama would have handled Joey B. And I got to tell you, oh God, this is going to really, they're going to kick me out of some kind of school. I kind of liked it when he goes, shut up, man. I love it when Biden goes, man. I'm like, I understand that. I always say man, too. Shut up, man.
Yeah, we're like in uncharted political territory here with this debate last night. My overall thought was the milk has gone bad. It all stinks.
What's your line about let's let the dog drive? That's what America's at, right?
Yeah. They decided Donald Trump being president. Hey, let's see what happens when the dog drives.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to David Ferris, good friend of the show, and he was tweeting in real time. Got to give him a lot of credit. He had some funny tweets. He had this one. I'm remaining calm by reminding myself that the debates mostly don't matter. Really, really glad I started an antidepressant last week, taking this all in stride. Again, not sure how the debate moderator repeatedly pleading with the president of the United States to please shut up is helpful for the president of the United States. Get the name of my city out of your rancid little mouth. We're going to talk about that later. Donald Trump had to go there with Chicago, had to throw Chicago to it. And we've been so nice to you, Donald Trump. I mean, we gave you that tower. We let you put your name on it. It only cost $50,000 in a campaign contribution to Rahm Emanuel. That's all it cost you. Whoops, someone just texted me something, D.
Oh, there we go.
Ignore that.
Yeah, talk about it. That's cool. All right, more of your comments on the Ben Joravsky Show Facebook page here. Leela says, this was a total shit show. Watching a toddler throw a 90-minute temper tantrum. Chris Wallace should have sent Trump for a timeout.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with this one because I don't know what Chris Wallace could have done. We'll be asking Monroe about this and Atiba. Actually, the thing that just flashed on my phone was an update, and the Presidential Commission says they're going to institute some kind of new rules, D, for the second. Remember, we still have 2 more presidential debates. Awesome. So they're going to institute new rules. I don't know what they could possibly do. He's the president of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Like when we were kids growing up, we were always told, you really look up to the president of the United States. Like you have to be really special, and you have to carry yourself with a certain amount of decorum. And if you eat your vegetables, do your homework, be nice and polite. Help old ladies across the street, do things like that. And you could be president of the United States. And now you have this guy, he's the president of the United States. He's like 2 middle fingers, F-bomb flying, breaking all the rules, runs over to little old ladies. And he's the president. So I don't know what Chris Wallace could have done. You know, somebody said they wish Chris Wallace had a taser. Which is actually not a bad line. I wish I thought of it.
It's very violent. Cassandra sent, thanks Cassandra for weighing in. Cassandra sent hashtag Putin's puppy. Paul said he's glad he went to sleep early.
I know he couldn't have fallen asleep during that debate. It was too loud, if nothing else.
Yeah. Oh, the soothing sounds of elderly men yelling. Aaron weighed in. Aaron said, are there really undecided voters out there thinking, I wonder what this Trump guy's all about? I better tune into the debate tonight to find out.
Yeah, no, Aaron, you're so right. There are no undecided voters. That's the biggest fraud in the whole history of presidential politics. They round up these voters. Well, here's Billy Bob from Nebraska, still undecided. You know, I want to hear more about their position on the gold standard.
Guys, this is tough. Hey, here's how Zach feels. Zach says Biden had a middling performance while Trump was an absolute dumpster fire that couldn't actually let a debate occur. It's sad that Biden couldn't competently counter much of what Trump said, but it ultimately wasn't good nor bad enough to have much effect, in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%. And I got to tell you, I spent the whole debate texting friends, wishing Elizabeth Warren was on the stage. You remember how she took down Bloomberg in that debate?
Oh, yeah.
Trump just out of nowhere. This is just like, it's hard to think of what was the low point of Donald Trump's performance, but just apropos to absolutely nothing, he felt compelled to make a reference to Elizabeth Warren, but of course he doesn't refer to her by her name. He calls her Pocahontas, which is so offensive on so many levels. But it's like, come on, seriously. Anybody with any credit, Jim Durkin.
Jimmy D.
Jimmy D, we're talking about him. Dudley Do-Right when it comes to Michael Madigan. How are you going to support a president who refers to a senator by an offensive nickname that he made up for her in the middle of a presidential debate? I'm just like, I understand standards have changed in our country, but Republicans, do you not have any standards? But anyway, I really thought that Joe Biden did not do a very effective job of counterpunching in many instances, other than laying the trap for Proud Boys. He did a great job there. And I agree with that listener, D. I really would have wished, I was like, oh man, how about Bernie? How would Bernie handle this? D, how would Bernie have handled it?
Did you hear what this man just said? Did you hear that? Something like that. 10%.
I do think Elizabeth Warren would have like with the sword out. But whatever.
Swords,
Democratic
tasers.
voters.
My goodness, you were just
I know. I'm really feeling my inner Donald Trump.
Something.
No, listen, Democratic Party, I just want to remind everybody, they nominated Joey B. I didn't vote for him. Don't blame me. But the Democratic Party nominated. I'm going along with the team. Right, D?
Okay. Did you hear what that man just said? All right, James. James gave props to moderator Chris Wallace. He said, seriously, mad props to the moderator for not just saying forget it and putting 2 pairs of boxing gloves on the stage and saying, yeah, just have at it.
That might have been actually an interesting. Guys, I'm not even gonna just go.
Okay, now boxing gloves. We got swords, tasers, boxing gloves. Oh, and Jennifer couldn't disagree more. She says Chris Wallace did a shitty job of controlling Trump and not allowing him to talk over Biden. What a frickin' failure. Thanks for cleaning it up there, Jennifer.
I agree with you, Jennifer. He couldn't control Trump. My question is, what could anybody have done to control? That's all I'm saying. I agree with you. Trump was out of control. And so who stands up to the president of the United States? Particularly he works for Fox TV, D. Can you imagine that going back to the work the next day after telling the president to shut the beep up? Come here, son. That's how they refer to him. Come here, son. Come here, sit down. You know what happened to Ben Joravsky for opening up his big mouth at that radio station? See you later. Get out of here. That's how you deal with a radio personality who steps out of line. That's what happened to Chris Wallace if he told the president to shut up.
It was WCPT 820.
Oh, yeah, I always forget.
They fired you. All right, we got one more comment here that we're going to read. Our good friend and Heartland Mama, Heidi Henry, weighed in on the Ben Joravsky Show Facebook page. Heidi says, the only winners are the ones that watched something else. It was exactly the kind of shit show we were all expecting. And we all know there are no, quote, undecided voters. So who is this for? Pundits. It was reality TV. It was horrible. And the next debate should include mics that shut off. I agree with her here. That shut off when it is not your turn. Real-time fact-checking and possibly electoral shocks for lies told. I mean, that could be a pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm with you, Heidi. So it would be great. I don't think, by the way, turning off the mic would stop Donald Trump. He would just keep talking. He would just keep talking.
Oh, yeah.
And his words would be picked up by Biden's mic. So you're not going to stop Donald Trump. So now the issue is, does Biden even participate in the next debate? We'll be discussing that with Monroe Anderson and Atiba Buchanan as the day unfolds. But the notion that this is a serious debate is a pretense. And this is Donald Trump bringing his rally into the debate format and using Joe Biden much the same way that Vince McMahon is used in all those old wrestling videos where they like dump water on him. They hit him over the head. They shave his head.
I can't believe I got you to watch wrestling. That's great.
Oh my God. Spent the whole weekend. Oh my God, this is hilarious. No, I totally understand Donald Trump. So he was using Biden as his foil. He wouldn't let Biden talk. I don't know what you think you're going to get Donald Trump to do. This is guys, let me explain to you Donald Trump's predicament. He owes about $400 million to creditors. He's probably going to owe $70 million or such to the IRS. They're coming after him. He's in serious problem. Okay, so he's got to win this election to keep those debtors, the people he owes money to, and the prosecutors at bay. If he loses the election, he has to build his brand. So I don't know, he can get another reality show. He's got to make money. So this is like he's not going to play by your rules. He knows the rules. He's already, it's not like you're going to say to Donald Trump, all right, Mr. Trump, we're going to turn off your microphone if you do that one more time. You think he got this far by playing according to rules? So this is kind of like delusion going out here that the Presidential Commission thinks, well, we're going to be a little clearer about the rules. I don't know how clear you can be. Like, you speak and then he speaks. It's sort of like bribery in the state of Illinois, D. They're always coming up with laws. Well, you can't take money and exchange it for favors. That would be illegal. It's already illegal. So I think people are fooling themselves when you have a notion that you can get Donald Trump to play by the rules.
All right, we're going to be reading more of your comments as today's program rolls along. Now, it wasn't on the Joravsky Show Facebook page, nor will it ever be, but someone else weighed in with their thoughts on last night's debate.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, hey, good afternoon. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. And if mayors trashing presidents is your kind of thing, well, we highly suggest that you stick around, because after our interview with Monroe Anderson, we will also be reading Mayor Lightfoot's tweets from last night's debate.
Are you going to do your Mayor Lightfoot imitation?
No. Ben, I'd like a future in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
I'd like to have, some opportunities. So let's stop bringing that up.
Fair enough.
Hey, let's do the local news. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Face coverings.
Today, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker delivered a virtual COVID-19 update. It's virtual because, one of his staffers tested positive for said COVID-19, and now he is self-isolating for 14 days. Or maybe since this news broke yesterday, it's 13 days.
Whoa.
Life is hard.
Quick, call Dan Biss. See if he can figure that out. All
Dan,
right?
help us, please. All right, time now for a Madigan Gate update. Madigan Gate, by the way.
Favorite part of the day.
For those who didn't know, Madigan Gate is the time utility company ComEd admitted to arranging contracts, arranging jobs, and payoffs to the associates of one Michael Joseph Madigan. And Ben, it looks like we may have our first Madigan associate to get this ComEd money. He was a Chicago alderman, so I'm sure you know an absurd amount of information about him. It's Frank Olivo. Did I say that right? Frank Olivo?
Yeah, that's good enough.
All right. Well, okay, good. And our Illinois Republicans are on to Act 2 of their pre-election political theater masterpiece, Madigan Bad. And, so far, quite frankly, Act 2 has gotten way more serious. Today, we're talking about David Glockner. David Glockner is ComEd's Executive Vice President of Compliance and Audit. While testifying before the Illinois House Committee investigating Madigan, David Glockner identified Frank Olivo as one of the people who received some of the $1.3 million that the utility paid to Madigan's associate in what amounted to a ghost payrolling scheme at a time when ComEd was seeking the Speaker's support for legislation. Glockner declined to confirm whether the Frank Olivo he identified as associate number 2 in the utility company's deferred prosecution agreement was the former 13th Ward alderman, but a federal subpoena issued to Madigan's office named Olivo as well and tied him to Madigan's 13th Ward. Ben Joravsky, tell us what you know about Olivo and your thoughts here on the latest update on Madigan Gate.
Well, I have much to say about the latest update on Michael Joseph Madigan Gates. I'll follow your instructions, young man. Frank Olivo. There's not much to say about Frank Olivo other than he never had much to say himself. Frank Olivo's claim to fame when he was alderman from the 13th Ward is that he said almost nothing. I can't remember what years he was alderman D off the top of my head. It's just all a blur. It was the Daley years. He was replaced by Marty Quinn, who has more to say. We'll get into that in a little while. But anyway, so Frank Olivo would just sit there and say nothing. And I was like, I always viewed it this way. Michael Madigan, Speaker of the House and Democratic committeeman from the 13th Ward on the southwest side of Chicago and chairman of the Democratic Party of Illinois, and until Pritzker came on the scene, arguably the most powerful Democrat in the state of Illinois, had a deal with Mayor Daley. And essentially that deal was this. He would do whatever Daley wanted in Springfield, ushering through whatever legislation Daley wanted, so long as Daley never in any way challenged him in his role as House Speaker or chairman of the Democratic Party. Never put up anybody against him, never badmouthed him, just pretended as though all was well. And that's kind of how the Democrats ran things in the city of Chicago in the 90s and the O's. They looked the other way at all the transgressions that they were all making and pretended that they didn't exist, and then said wonderful things about each other. And they each of them respected the turf and of the other.
Oh,
and
they sound
so
like great people.
Yeah, that's why I spend the 90s and the O's ripping them, D. That's why I'm in the attic looking at the porta potty. You don't go far in the city of Chicago ripping Democratic powerful people and Republicans. You got to pick your lane. You're allowed to either rip the Democrats and suck up to the Republicans or rip the Republicans, suck up the Democrats. You're going to be up in the attic if you do both. D. Remember that.
Well, remember it. I'm here in the car with you, dude. What do you mean, remember that? I'm in my apartment.
They don't let you go on the progressive radio stations talking about the Democrats. Ben, just talk about Trump, okay? Don't mention the Democrats. Anyway, so Frank Olivo was part of that. It was like they had to have an alderman in the 13th Ward because, I don't know, there's the rules say you have to have an alderman. But his job was just to sit there and do whatever Daley wanted or Rahm wanted or whoever the mayor was. Just vote whatever way the mayor wants. Okay. And I don't know if he ever said a word. That was like the joke. He may have said something once and then Fran Spielman wrote about it. Wow, Frank Olivo said something. So that was kind of Frank Olivo's thing. And then I don't know why, but there was some kind of move where they ushered him out. They brought Marty Quinn in. Maybe Madigan wanted to reward Marty Quinn for being such a loyal precinct captain. I don't know why. Marty Quinn says a few things, though. I was stunned. I think Marty Quinn actually voted against something the mayor proposed. I almost passed out. That's the sound of me passing out. I remember calling Mick Dumke. Like, who in the world would I call? I always call Monroe about Trump stuff, right? Anything happens in the city council, really the only one I can call is Mick. Can you believe this? The sad part about it, he's into it. Yeah, I can't believe it.
Oh, dorks. Dorks. I tell you.
So that's Frank Olivo. They're like chess pieces, aldermen. And so the alderman of the 13th Ward is a chess piece. And his job is just to do whatever the mayor says, so long as the mayor is doing whatever Madigan says, if you follow that. Whoa, that's deep, man. So that's Frank Olivo. And apparently he was given some jobs by Commonwealth Edison. Is that correct, young Dennis?
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, according to this testimony yesterday or 2 days ago or whenever the hell it was.
Mm-hmm. Madigan Gate is
now, do you think it's, because we were kind of, I was calling it political theater like 2 weeks ago, kind of going, they're silly, these Republicans. Did it get a little more real here in the last few days, this Madigan Gate?
Here's the deal about the Republicans. A bigger bunch of frauds and phonies there are not in the state than the Republicans. They're outraged by Madigan Gate. Oh, we cannot allow this to happen. But Trump Gate, I don't see anything. So that's my thing. Trump's doing the same thing that Madigan's doing. Trump's got Oracle deal. I wrote about it in the Reader. His cronies hired by Oracle, Same thing. Where's the outrage? Don't see anything. Don't hear anything. Trump is far worse when it comes to a conflict of interest than Madigan. But so this is a political game that the Republicans are playing. But is it getting more serious? I think it has the chance to undercut the fair tax. That's what this is all about. They're staging this to embarrass the Democrats and undercut the initiative for the fair tax. And so in that regards, I think it is something that we have to take seriously. And it makes me sick, but it's beyond the theater has an audience. Let's put it that way. It's still political theater, but the theater has an audience.
All right. Well, with the time we have left here, Ben, what do you say you and me go for a little ride?
Yes, but before we do that, can I make another announcement?
Yeah, sure.
About Madigan Gate.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I may have mentioned this to you earlier in the day.
Oh, my God.
A little embarrassed to say this. Gonna make another flip-flop, D. Gonna make another flip-flop. I've been flip-flopping a lot on Madigan Gate. First, when Madigan Gate first broke, I said, that's it. He's got to step down. He's embarrassing the party. He's hurting the fair tax. He's got to step down. And then I saw all these Republicans. They weren't hiding under a table, not denouncing Trump. So I said, that's it. If they won't denounce Trump, if they're going to denounce Madigan, but not Trump, I'm not going to play that game. I'm flip-flopping. I'm going to support Madigan. So I did a flip-flop.
There's the noise. That's what we were all waiting for.
Come on.
And we only knew that was a matter of time, listeners, huh? Who on the calendar, who on the board here had 3 weeks?
But then I read Mark Brown's column today. Excellent column by young Mark Brown, political columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times. It's been on the show a few times, not since we moved to the attic. And a workout fiend, as everybody knows. He once wrote that he took...
Don't get this guy going here. My goodness. Went up Cricket Hill 15 times.
No one believes him. Even Ramada's like, I don't know, 15 times? That's a lot. All right. So he may be a little Trumpian in his counting, you know? I think Mark counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 14, 15. That's how he counts. He forgot everything between 4 and 14. But say what you will about his exercise routine. He wrote an excellent column today. The jury is in on Madigan, even if Dems refuse to see it. He makes the case that Madigan is really undercutting the Democratic Party and is an embarrassment to the Democrats. So having read Mark Brown's persuasive column day, I'm getting ready to do, guess what? Another flip-flop.
So wait, another one? So now you think that he shouldn't resign?
Yeah, hold on. Let me count it up. I'm getting mixed up with my flip-flops. So first I said resign, then bang, flip-flop, don't resign. Now bang, yes, resign.
Oh, okay, so we're at resign. I thought you flip-flopped again from the previous flip-flop from a minute ago, but no. Okay, just making sure.
Just got that straight. Mark Brown laid out a very persuasive case. Good job, Mark Brown.
All right, so now with the time we have left, Ben, what do you say we take a ride, huh?
I'm ready.
All right, we're now 35 days away from Election Day, and once a week, we do our part in providing information on the local Illinois elections here on the Ben Joravsky Show. Joravsky, do you have all that change that we never use and you bring every time we go for a ride? Do you have it?
I don't have that change. Oh, here it is.
All right, excellent.
That's for the tolls, because we don't have that little sticker thing, because you didn't fill out the form. You know, the little thing you put in, that's not a sticker, but it's like a little thing you put in.
My God, you're the worst travel partner ever. Get in the car. All right, it's time to cruise to a district and find out. Okay, hold on to your change and find out about one of their elections. It's time for Meet the Candidates. Holy crap, we're late. Come on.
Meet the candidates.
All right, we're here. Now, you didn't need that change because not a far drive today, buddy. We're in northern Chicago, covering Cook County and including parts of Evanston and Skokie. We're in the 9th Congressional District, and we're here to meet the candidates in the 9th Congressional District race, incumbent Democrat Jan Chukowski and her Republican challenger, Sargis Sangari. First up, the incumbent. Ben, I know you she's a well-known name amongst Chicago political know-it-alls, and $10 says the know-it-all that I have on the line with me right now can tell you more than we'll ever know about her. But according to her campaign website, Jan Chukowski has been a lifelong champion for working and middle-class families. Jan began her advocacy as a young housewife, leading a successful campaign to require expiration dates on food products, including baby food and formula. As your Congresswoman, Jan continues to organize around common sense issues at the grassroots level to make positive change in our country. I could continue, but Ben, tell us about Jan Chukowski.
Well, D, I'm so old.
Oh, boy.
Hold on, train going by. I love the sound of that train.
I don't.
Driving that train high on cocaine. Anyway, I'm so old. I remember when Jan Chukowski introduced herself to the world as a consumer advocate. And they said in that press release it was baby food. I have this distant memory of hamburger meat. Yes. That one of the things she was saying was that the various grocery stores did not do a good job of marketing the hamburger meat. And so it was spoiled. I don't know. Look, maybe that's just a lot of, this is the 70s, a lot of reefer was being consumed by myself, so I could have got it all mixed up. Not saying Jan Chukowski smoked reefer. I know she wouldn't do anything like that. I'm just saying I was smoking reefer. So I remember her career. I remember as a young journalist for the Learner paper chain, which nobody remembers, but used to be a neighborhood newspaper chain. I would have to interview Jan Chukowski, activist Jan Chukowski. Oh. And she was always great with a quote and always quick to call you back and very, how do I put this? Very dutiful and diligent and hardworking and all those things. And I could tell then she had a future in politics. And her first election, by the way, D, let's do a little Jan Chukowski trivia. No fun.
Oh, awesome.
All right. So for 10 trivia points, what high school did Jan Chukowski graduate from? Go.
Evanston.
Sullivan High School on the north side of Chicago. She grew up in Riders Park, but then she moved to Evanston. And her first run, I believe, was for state representative. And this is staggering. Her opponent was John Baum. How do I know that? Because I wrote a story about it for the Reader. Early 1990s. How about that, D? Huh?
I feel
went
like
to Jan Chukowski's house and I interviewed her. I remember sitting in the kitchen. So what are your opinions about taxes? What do you think about, Michael Madigan? All those good things.
What do you think she thinks about Michael Madigan now?
She is not going to tell you what she thinks about Michael. Because let me tell you something about Jan Chukowski. She was born at night, but she wasn't born last night, D, okay? Ben, I'm a congresswoman and I don't get involved in local issues. I'm too busy battling Trump. I don't blame you, Jan Chukowski. I wouldn't get involved in Madigan Gate either. Look what happens to people who get involved and criticize Democrats. They end up in their attic overlooking a porta potty. You would not want that to happen to you, Jan Chukowski. So anyway, Jan Chukowski is a good liberal, and she's probably one of the most liberal representatives in the House of Representatives. And so, yeah, she's never going to be defeated, D. She'll be a congresswoman from the 9th Congressional District as long as she wants.
Well, you've yet to meet the challenger, all right? So let's meet the challenger before you just go ahead and assume that. By the way, let's get some of that change. Kind of craving a hamburger right now. Ooh. I don't know why.
Let's hope the meat hasn't expired.
All right, let's meet the challenger. And Ben, also please be nice, okay? It's Republican Sargis Sangari. According to Sargis Sangari's website, Sargis Sangari is a 20-plus year veteran of the United States Army Infantry and Special Operational Forces with multiple combat deployments to Iraq, a diplomatic assignment in Kuwait, and several other deployments to the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and Central America. Now, if the Republican part hasn't turned you off already, this next bit of information could be a deal breaker. Sangari was endorsed by the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, Ben.
Johnny C, my man. Haven't seen his picture in the Sun Times lately. What's going on here, Johnny? Come on, Sun Times. You're dropping the ball.
All right, and we got one piece of audio here to play from the challenger, Sargis Singh. I found this on YouTube. It's him talking about those affected by the pandemic. Take it away, Sargis Singh.
An honorable hello to all the Korean Americans living in the 9th Congressional District of Illinois. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Sargis Singh. I am the Republican nominee for Congress in the 9th Congressional District of Illinois. My priorities in Congress are going to be to ensure that all the small businesses that are the backbone of the Korean community in my district recover from this Chinese virus that impacted them negatively. We have to ensure that all those businesses come back fully and stronger than they had been in the past. I will ensure that I work with the Korean churches. They have a liaison with me directly through my office, both locally and internationally, because they are the spirit of the Korean people living in the 9th Congressional District.
And there he was, Sargis Singh.
Wow, what'd you find? You found that on, I can give you credit. All right.
Just
let me
Googled
say
his
this.
name.
Chinese virus. How offensive. You know, you're an immigrant from Iran. I guess that's his story. You're speaking to Korean Americans and you're going to Chinese virus. You're using Trump's words, Chinese virus. Demonize all long-held rivalries between the countries of Korea and China or something are going to work to your advantage. Like, how insulting is that? Why are you doing this? Is the problem with Republicans right there. How do you think that kind of rhetoric is going to work in the 9th Congressional District, which is one of the most liberal districts in America? What makes you think that that's going to work? How insulting. I don't even know this dude. I never heard of him until I saw the Tribune today. We'll get into that and their stupid editorial endorsements. So I know nothing about the guy. I see he was in the Army. Good for him. But like, why would you take Donald Trump? Donald Trump in the 9th Congressional District will be lucky if he gets 20% of the vote. So what do you think? Why would you appeal to the basis element of the district you're running in? And particularly do it in front of a group of Korean Americans. It's just really insulting. Just hearing it, I didn't even know about the dude. I was going to say something nice about the guy because I believe everybody should have a challenger. You know, Jan Chukowski is going to win, duh. But I heard that. I'm like, but here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, young Dennis. This is what I really wanted to talk about. So the Chicago Tribune, the editorial page, and everybody knows, I think they're the biggest joke in the world. Extreme right-wingers, always outraged about Michael Madigan and JB. D, I feel another flip-flop coming.
Oh, no.
I feel another flip-flop coming. Just talking about how outraged the Tribune is about Michael Madigan and JB Pritzker and Kim Fox and Smollettgate, and not one word about Trump. They still haven't written an editorial about Trump's taxes. Trump freaking, I'm going to put the word stole in quotes, $70-something million in a refund from the IRS, from the American Treasury, for the taxpayers of taxpayers of the United States. Some had his accountants working overtime, taking advantage of loopholes. Who knows whether it's legal or not? Not one word from the Tribune. New York Times came out with that story on Sunday. I'm still waiting for the Tribune to weigh in. Oh, they're pretending it doesn't exist. Their editorial page is a joke. They only take a look at Democratic corruption. They don't have a word about Republican corruption. And they're just, they pretend somehow or other that they care about principles of good government, when in fact they just use it as a tool to benefit the Republican Party. But here's the thing. They realized that in order to have any kind of credibility, they had to endorse Jan Chukowski. In the past, they've not endorsed her. But now they're like, we have a lot of readers in Skokie and in Evanston who love Jan Chukowski. We would look really bad if we didn't endorse her. So they endorsed Jan Chukowski. But then they throw a bone to Sungari. And but they write this. Sarkis Sangari of Skokie is an accomplished U.S. Army veteran who immigrated to the United States from Iran as a boy. He has a great story to tell, and we hope he sticks around in politics. But this time the endorsement goes to Chukowski. Great story to tell? Chinese virus? Hey, Trippy, why don't you write about that? Such a joke. Meanwhile, somehow or other, they endorsed Jeannie Ives. I'm not making this up, D.
Whoa.
They endorsed Jeannie Ives. Tribune has lost its freaking mind. Anyway, that's what I think about the election in the 9th Congressional District, D.
All right. And yeah, I think you were right. Yeah, Jan Chukowski's totally going to win. All right. We're running late, Ben. We got to go. Get back in the car. Oh, and hey, that was our segment, Meet the Candidates. Oh, my God. We're rolling.
Here's the change.
The candidates.
All right. We're back. Hey, everybody, make sure you follow us on social media at Benny J Show, BENNY, the letter J Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Send us an email, BennyJShow@gmail.com. And you can call us, 708-658-4788. That number again, 708-658-4788. Call the Ben Joravsky Show. We're not going to answer, but leave us a voicemail. And if you leave your name, there's a good chance we'll play your voicemail on the program. Also, don't forget, coming up later, more of your comments on the Ben Joravsky Show Facebook page, your thoughts on last night's debate. Don't go anywhere, everybody. It's the Ben Joravsky Show. We are live from my apartment and Ben's attic.
Open up wide, take a look inside, keep an open mind. If you got a racist fool, kick him off page 2, but keep his point of view. Why? The anti-labor world's greatest newspaper will always be here for you. So come on.
No collusion.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Correct.
I'm not a doctor.
Hour number 2 of your Ben Joravsky Show is brought to you in part by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 9, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150, and the Chicago Federation of Labor. Benny J, take it away.
Every Wednesday for the last 3 years, like clockwork, Monroe Anderson, distinguished, legendary journalist, former columnist for the Tribune, former columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times, press secretary to Eugene Sawyer, joins me on this show to talk Trump, and Trump. Monroe, I don't know if you saw this, gave you a shout out in this week's reader. More like I put it on. I put it out there, your prediction that Donald Trump is going down. And before we get into all the topics of the day, I will read what you wrote on your Facebook wall, and this will be our cheat sheet and the topics we will cover. Here we go. This is Monroe on his Facebook wall. Already, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, getting heated response from MAGA hat wearers who are outraged at you. MAGA hats.
I write it to provoke anger, rage.
MAGA's so mad at you. They hate Monroe Anderson. Here we go. Quote, the white supremacist, I'm sorry, I'm going to try to do this without laughing. The white supremacist in the White House was the bulldozer in the China shop last night during the first presidential debate. Did you find Trump giving the white hate group, the Proud Boys, a shout out while telling them to, quote, stand back and stand by alarming? Did it bother you that Trump refused to promise to accept the decision of the American voter after November 3rd? Did Trump's repeatedly talking over Biden bother you? Considering that Trump was all bluster, lies, and insults, should the former vice president agree to a second debate? Ben Joravsky and I will discuss these questions and Trump as a federal income tax cheat. I forgot about that. I forgot about federal tax story.
That's because you didn't pay $750 in taxes.
Oh my God, folks, I didn't. But I got to tell you, I'll just one more time, I'll share this. Two biggest geeks in the city of Chicago. Well, I guess McDumpkey's with us. On Sunday, Monroe and myself, Sunday, the Time story breaks. I'm going for a walk. Call Monroe. I go, Monroe, you found this tax story? Are you kidding me? I'm watching MSNBC right now. Puts his phone up to the TV so I can hear Michael Cohen. And I'm walking down the street listening to Monroe's TV over my cell phone. Monroe, Michael Cohen, we got to get to the debate, but I got to tell you, Michael Cohen is like a pit bull coming after Donald John Trump. And I don't feel sorry for Donald John Trump.
Michael Cohen is trying to be the John Dean of this era. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so, so he's coming after him. Plus, Trump didn't show him no love. That was the problem. He becomes president. He doesn't put him on the staff anywhere. He was his errand boy, and that was it. The way Trump looked at him.
Yeah, and then he went to prison for Trump.
Right.
And then he went to prison for Trump. That really pissed him off.
He's serving the sentence that Cohen is serving. Trump is individual number one on in a closed indictment, which means if it was good enough for Cohen to go to prison, it's good enough for Con Don to go to prison too.
All right, let's get into the debate. Before we do, and now I'm going to ask Dennis to play the white supremacist part. But before we play that, got to ask you just a general question about Chris Wallace. This has been on my mind, and I haven't asked you this yet. Chris Wallace has been getting criticized all over the media and the internet. He should have done more. And I kind of came to his aid. I don't know Chris Wallace, but I generally respect him. And I just thought he was in an impossible situation. He's dealing with the president of the United States, who's immensely popular with the viewing base of Fox, where Chris Wallace works. So I don't know what Chris Wallace could have done. All the criticism of Chris Wallace, I've never seen anybody come up with a suggestion what he could have done. So what's your thoughts about Chris Wallace?
It was completely, there was nothing he could do. I mean, he tried. He tried, but no, Trump was literally a bulldozer in a china shop. And so he couldn't do anything with Trump. In fact, at one point he said, maybe you should come down here and be the moderator and I should go up there and debate, because Trump's madness was that he has no answers. He has no plan. He has no answers for all his problems. So what he does is he rants and raves. And he comes up with his conspiracy theories. He lies, but he does everything but address the problem because he has no solution. He's not a problem solver. He's a bad manager. I mean, he's a horrible.
He's a problem.
Yeah,
he's a problem solver. He's the problem.
Yeah, he's the problem for himself and unfortunately for us.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I don't think there's anything Chris Wallace could have done. We'll get into whether they should bother with it.
Because the thing is, theoretically, he should have been able to.
Wait, is that your ringtone?
Yeah.
You have "Do Up My Baby."
Yeah.
That's your ringtone?
Yes.
It seems like a mighty long.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's going to go off in a second. But anyway, if you know, theoretically, he could have had a silence button, push that, and where cut off Trump's mic for 2 minutes while Biden talked. But the convention, there's this convention committee or
the commission
that determines the terms of the debate, how long, what the topic's going to be, all that stuff. And it's not in their rules. So even if he had a button where he could shut Trump off, he couldn't have pushed it because Trump's campaign wouldn't have agreed to that.
And Trump would have kept talking anyway.
Well, except you to cut his mic off, he really looked like a madman then.
Well, yeah, it would have been picked up by Biden. By the way, the commission sent out a press release, and I haven't had an opportunity to take the deep dive while I've been doing the show. So I'm wondering if they're going to. They say they're going to do something to make sure that the next debate works a little better. This is Trump's strategy. This is what he's doing. This is what gets him the cheers. I don't think he's done.
And his people are loving it. But is it the next debate or the third one? I think it's the next debate where it's a town hall with voters. It's not journalism.
Oh, okay. Are you sure about that? I can't remember. I think that literally the next debate is Kamala Harris versus Mike Pence.
I'm not talking about it presidential. Yeah, no. Yeah. Next week is Kamala and Pence. But I'm talking about with the round 2 with Biden.
By the way, all right. So let's just talk about that. How do you think Kamala Harris would have done against Donald Trump last night?
Well, she would have done better than Biden, because Joe, people talking about he's old and slow. Joe has never been brilliant. So, I mean, he's not stupid or anything like that. But basically, he's a worker bee. I mean, he kept his nose to the grind, and he did his job. He did his work, but he's no Barack Obama. I knew Barack Obama. Barack Obama was a friend. Joe is no Barack Obama.
I said this already, Monroe. I don't know what Barack Obama would have done last night. Barack Obama has never encountered anything like Donald Trump.
Nobody has. That's the thing for moderators, for candidates. Nobody has encountered anything like that. Not only was he intentionally disrupting and interrupting, But he was lying with the interruptions. It'd be different if Joe shaded, as politicians tend to do, they shade their responses just a little bit for their advantage. It'd be different if he had been interrupting him to say no.
That story he told right off. I mean, there were so many times where he said something where I said, I know that's not true. I know that's not true. And the one about Philadelphia and the voters being poll watchers, complete fabrication. Donald Trump made that up.
Right.
It wasn't what went down at all. But see, here's the deal. This is like Barack Obama never encountered anybody like this who feels.
Nobody. Biden seemed to be disoriented and kept looking at the camera. The reason Harold Washington, and you're done.
Harold Washington, and you're done. And white people, they even when his second run, they still voted overwhelming. The guy was the most gifted orator the city of Chicago's ever had.
Well,
right?
This is how it works. When a black leader is leading, then there are all sorts of problems with him. For example,